Hello, our friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family.
Hello there, welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. As always, want to thank everybody for your support over at Patreon. We have a lot of things we have been getting with the guides about and expanding, especially expanding when it comes to instruction and teaching and deeper dives in along those lines. This, by the way, is our website, evolutionaryenergyarts.com. Again, you can come and check it out, and I'm going to be updating this to a much higher level, possibly with some help from some of our friends, so to speak, in more ways than one. It's definitely needs to be updated, and we need to get across a lot more information now because things are rapidly changing, and so much of the change is really being driven by the sun. Here we had two X-class flares, X 1.1, and the other one was like an X 1.6, as you see here. Again, whether it is a flare that directs a CME towards us or not, every time the sun is sending out these signals, it is affecting our consciousness. And this is the thing that is going to change the most. It's our consciousness. Again, we do not fear the sun at all. The sun is the relay from source and the creator of this universe. And it's through the sun that it's triggering advances in our DNA. And again, bringing about a positive change in consciousness that is absolutely needed at this point in time as we leave the Kali Yuga behind and step out of the Dark Age into the Bronze.
Well, the exciting news is we are co-creators, and the exciting news is we are co-creators. So what does that mean? It means we need to get together sometimes and work on creating this world that we want to see. We want to see something different. If you're listening to this channel, you definitely know that there is something wrong with the dark matrix and you want something different. So we're going to work harder on getting people together and working with these the sun and the earth and magnetizing our energies and getting them together and pushing out a wave of consciousness that visualizes for us a different world. So that's what we're working on. We're still it's in baby stages, but today is definitely a good day for manifestation. The moon is very dark. It's like planting a seed of information. Today's a great day for manifestation. I've told a couple people that, but I thought, well, I'm just going to tell everybody because it's a great day. So you plant the seed and then you allow the sun to come and fertilize. So this is a lot of fun, and we're going to be bringing that to the forefront and helping people as much as we can. Those who feel like they want to be part of this, we're going to get it out there and help manifesting this new world. So I'm excited.
Yeah, absolutely. I do feel 2025 is a year of dramatic change. It'll be a big change for us too, in some of the ways we structure and do things, and going into, it's time for a lot more deeper dives into the esoteric, as there was so much of an awakening going on at this point, and there are those that are just starving for more information. As you see, the KP is scheduled to go up to a 6 or 7 G3 storm possible. We did this video, says 7 months ago, unlocking human potential, superpowers, clairvoyance, telepathy, healing, Bronze Age miracles, because this is what the guides wanted us to get across as we face all these threats of WW3 and new plague upon the lands and all the conflict and everything. Again, the geopolitical and also monetary storms that they put us through, they're all attacks on our root chakra, on our grounding, our ability to firmly plant ourselves so that we get the most sunlight, which they're always trying to block as well, and allow ourselves to blossom and grow in these times, because this is what's going to happen. Humans are going to blossom. We are changing. We're naturally changing into something much more than what we have been, because what we have been is the byproduct of constriction and restrictive thinking. Interesting, when you see some of the things that have been researched by various scientific authors, alien communication, a plausible telepathic mode over here. There's a lot of information out there that is perhaps hidden in scientific circles, or it doesn't get a lot of attention. And it's written by people that honestly don't have as much knowledge on the subject, even though they're quote-unquote authorities, as some of you out there, and don't have as much ability as some of you out there. People that are so left brain oriented that they've never worked to develop another whole side of them that's actually the much bigger side. When you look to what is going on right now, you understand that when we have a pineal gland that's not functioning, it really affects us in so many ways, because again, part of its function is to not just help us see things clearer in a different way. It does help with sleep cycles. It helps with positivity and good mood and optimism. This is a blessing. Aset came through last night and just wanted to give us a message, but it was a short message, but it was very, very powerful, and we'll be sharing that in another video, more in depth. And, when we see things from a scientific point of view, like chronic vagus nerve stimulation here, improves alertness, reduces rapid eye movement, sleep in patients affected by refractory epilepsy. I was moving some of my notebooks yesterday, and it has all my notes on stuff like this from back in school. And it's like, wow, the stuff that you forget after you get out of school because you don't use it. And yet at the same time, there are things that in school they'll just brush over because they don't really want you digging deeper. Oh yeah, absolutely. This is from Open Minded Approach. He says, I listened to the first episode of the Telepathy tapes, and I have to admit that I'm impressed. These people can truly tap into our minds, and it seems like the scientific consensus is causing great harm to humanity as a whole. These results are definitely measured using the scientific method, yet they are still rejected. Yeah, absolutely. Telepathy is real. It's part of the human genome. Well, again, if you look at the human genome, you see, there's been an awful lot of tinkering with the human genome in order to restrict human ability. And this is more than obvious. It's right there in front of our eyes. And yet, of course, they'll still deny it, because if they acknowledge it, everything falls apart. And their whole system, their house of cards, is falling apart anyway. It's just a matter of giving things a bigger nudge, opening the window so the breeze can come in and knock the whole damn thing down, because it's more than time to. I'll just play this little bit for you guys so you could get an idea of what we're talking about here.
Let's please multiply two numbers and see if he gets it.
Okay, what is it?
9, 0, 0. Unbelievable.
1.
Maybe shuffle again, Dr. Powell. Oh.
Pull out. 2.
So he got the plus, too.
I was wondering, because I was looking at the 2 the whole time, and I saw his hand going somewhere else.
Is the next number.
3. Biggest overall finding is really this increase of activation across all the brain waves. If there was no change, I would definitely be skeptical.
If you can show a consistent pattern, particularly from kid to kid, that's how science changes. You cannot fake this.
Let's please multiply two numbers and see if he gets it.
So what you see, it goes on and talks about the fact that in some of these cases, these people are 95% accurate. It's well beyond the 50-50 coin toss, and not even close to this. It's really, truly, it's who we are. It's just who we are. We are living in a world that's been constructed to confine, and this is part of what they are trying to hide from us. And this is Itzhak Bentov, and not all of what he gives across, perhaps we'd all agree with. I do think there are some things that he brings up that are obviously not completely accurate, but at the same time, heading in the right direction. He says, the children were born at the wrong time. No, they were born at exactly the right time. It's just that the system has inhibited their ability to change our paradigm. These are, again, what we would call star seeds, and we could go into specifics of, indigos and different types, the crystal children, all this. Again, these are all labels to just basically give us a little bit more clarity on the fact that the consciousness on planet Earth and humans is changing dramatically.
It's huge, and to realize that humans on the 3D, we have certain functions, and I realized this in my own story with my own information, and why do I get information from different areas, and this helped me understand. So with children who are not able to speak, they're simply going to go to another dimension and get information. So in my case, I have some issues, and we could call them things that were really bad that happened to me. However, I now, instead of going to the 3D for information, it's like I skip up, I bump up to 4D, 5D, and other ways I find information, or my body, mind, soul, spirit finds information in other ways. So it's like going up and over. You kind of skip up and over, because I've often asked myself, why do I get this information? Why does it come to me? It's something that it's obviously there. I can't keep it within myself. Well, it's part of my makeup to communicate. So I simply communicate in a different way, but still all the information is there for me, just like it's there for you. It's just a matter of how do we go through and get that information. So they cannot stop the human. They're going to try to stop humans from using their abilities, but it's like plugging a dam in a certain area. That water is going to come out somewhere else. You cannot plug the dam.
No, absolutely. So, here the phrase is these kids are simply more evolved. The reality is humans have been purposely devolved. And the reality is the more that we stay in the system, the less we're living up to our potential. And they're doing this to offer you false potential in the offering that we get from AI of different technologies. Everything that they're trying to replicate, they know that we're going to achieve naturally on our own, but there's no profit and control in it for them. So what they do is they're going to offer alternative ways through the use of technology to get lesser versions of what would come naturally at no cost and no expense. This is how the system works. Again, there are rapid changes in consciousness with rapid changes in the sun. And while we disagree a little bit with open-minded approach on some things, such as, he is still of the mindset that when the big solar flashes come, it's going to be, kind of like, 2012 movie. You better get up to the top of the Himalayas, otherwise you won't make it. And there are others out there like Ben, Suspicious Observers, that thinks that too. But you're taking all this based on, again, left-brained information. You're taking it on, ice core samples and leftover deposits and sediments. And again, these measurements are all coming from the schools and from the sciences that are giving us this disingenuous system in the first place. So the reality is we will change. We are going to change. But this whole world and all worlds are, in fact, created for consciousness to explore. So, while there may be a resetting of things, so to speak, ultimately they're here for consciousness. And so it's missing the point to think that there's nothing we can do about these cycles and it's all doom and gloom. No, it's quite the opposite. It's a rebirth, and it's a shedding of all the darkness that has been constricting our view of the potential of the future.
And we are doing our best to try to bring people together and help them understand what their abilities are. And this is not something that we can do by ourselves. We definitely need support, and we need help, and we need a gathering of people so we can continue to do this work, because Mike and I base a lot of our information on our work, on firsthand knowledge, firsthand experience, and we want to share that with as many people as possible and teach as many people as possible how to do that for themselves.
Yeah, that's a little bit of the difference, and this is where it's been going through my mind to give you guys a lot more information on, who are we exactly. And also, the guides had warned us, because we went through a period of time where we felt very, very threatened and endangered in more ways than one. So, they were recommending that we don't show ourselves. I think there's coming a time when we will show ourselves more, and we'll do it selectively as we feel that we are coming to the point in time now where they don't have enough fingers to stick in all the holes where the leaks are springing up, as Cindy was saying. So, we are one big leak for them, but there are so many other big leaks going on too. So they're not going to be able to, stop all this. It's turning into a tsunami of information. And, after all, as Open-Minded Approach says here, it's the evolution of the soul. That's the big giveaway. And so, Aset was coming through last night and just saying again, this is for you. So even us, the Starseed Lightworkers that don't have to be here, we're not bound here in any way, shape, or form. We just choose. We're volunteers to come at this point in time and help the transformation of the planet, help those that truly haven't experienced enough human incarnations or incarnations on other planets, other planes of existence to really understand the bigger picture, or they are also awash in too much of the system's darkness that has weighed heavily on them, so they can't really see for themselves. So, again, this is what volunteers and what we would call starseeds are doing. You're coming in openly choosing to take an incarnation that's dedicated for the most part in changing a paradigm, but at the same time, enjoy yourself. And, it's not against the rules to enjoy yourself and to make the most of your incarnation, because what you experience here stays with you for all eternity. This is all part of the soul forever, and it's a part that can be accessed at any time. It's like going into a closet or going into a drawer, finding an old Atari, 2600, and just saying, hey, I want to revisit, Pong, or I want to Space Invaders. I want to play Mario or whatever from way, way back and just revisit this. And because you are eternal, you can revisit this for as long a period of time as you want. And you could say again, and we've talked about this in other videos, you could go back and say, what if I went right instead of left? What if I, took, this route, I became this instead of that? It's again, a place in this multiverse where we can replay things and see how things would have played out. This is all a learning experience, growth experience, but it is for enjoyment too. And so I do not see this realm, even though we are in perhaps one of the darkest of dark systems and have been for our lifetime. This realm is not about torturing us. No, quite the opposite. We already are eternal beings. We have forever to play. So this is all about basically learning and growing. And it's an experience as a separate intelligent unit of consciousness that we are having in a very, very dark system that isolates you. And now we're kind of stepping out of that, and when we're starting to see how, it's only appeared that we're isolated. We're not really isolated. And in reality, we've never been alone, and we have so many helpers that are around us all the time. It's kind of like going through a dark tunnel on this scariest roller coaster ride you can imagine, and all of a sudden seeing that there's light ahead.
Mm-hmm. And realizing that you're not alone on the ride, and there's other people right there to do this with you. So it is a very exciting time. I think it's time that we do our best to help bring people together, those that do want to be together, come together and work with the energies of the earth and Mother Earth on manifesting a new world.
Yeah, as you see the Queen doing this, there's a tree there. It's like the tree of life, right? There's DNA there. And, what they're doing is the reptilians are trying to say we control the tree. Here, Open-Minded says that he agrees that when you reach the full potential of your DNA, you will no longer have a physical body. Instead, you will acquire a body made of pure light. Tibetan rainbow body, plasma body, Egyptian Ankh, the Kabbalistic Merkaba wheel, and so on. And again, many of us already have a fully developed light body. So, but we're still here. Why? Well, because we're here to help others. We're here to put out that hand and help up. There are many that experience other realities while embodied. Going into meditation. Again, talking about Tibetan, there are some in the Tibetan tradition that would literally wall in a monk and brick them in and into a room and just have a little slot where they can go ahead and send in food and water every so often. And they would meditate and go out of body, and they would have to go and identify items that are in another room. This is just a technique that was done. It has been done throughout the ages. And in order to leave your space, you would have to get that right. And, again, many of us have had lifetimes doing this type of thing and this type of training. And if you are listening to this, I know, again, the regulars, those that listen to every video, many of you are beings like this. You've done this all. You've spent lifetimes in developing these abilities, and now you're just simply remembering who you are and what your real potential is. And it's being triggered again by the galactic energy that's coming in and the sun primarily. So yeah, these beings are kind of vampires that are very afraid of the sun, and mostly because they're afraid of us passing where they are. And it's inevitable. We are going to leave them in the dust. We can go where they can't go, and it's just a matter of choice. They've chosen not to go back on the ascension path.
Mm-hmm. So hopefully, the things can take a change. I think there's going to be still scary things ahead of us. It's not over, because these reptilians, they want to do more damage. It's not like they're done, and they're not giving up. But our energy is so very unique and so very special. Yes, they do have to do everything they can, including working through other dimensions to try to suppress the human soul and spirit.
So, again, this is something you may find interesting. I'll have all the links for you guys. Just listen to this little guy, because, again, we are never alone. We are in the arms of benevolent beings. We all have angels that are watching us, and, they got us. It's okay.
时光晃呀晃，闪着光，照在他脸上，挥手说着重逢时候的愿望。时光晃。
it doesn't matter the language. And again, language is something that's only come because of the calcified pineal gland and the disabled light body, which is coming online now. So again, we will be able to communicate telepathically, and that doesn't mean just with humans. It means with all the animals out there and also the different extraterrestrial species. And if you want to call them super terrestrial, the advanced ones that have been here on the earth the whole time with us, we will be able to communicate with them openly in the future. And that time is sooner than later.
Indeed.
As always, thanks for your support. Come join us on Patreon. New things working over there as well. Source bless and namaste.
Namaste.